San Francisco, 1851. The first madness of the gold rush was over. Men sought a new source of wealth. Some pursued it as far as the newly opened gold fields of Australia. Others found it in the rich soil of California land. Men like John Ruge took up sites for farms and homes and found trouble as bands of raiders tried to drive them off by looting, burning, and killing.
They hit us about sundown. Valejo's vaqueros. We managed to hold them off. Kept them from burning the house.
I just don't understand it. Are you sure that they were Don Valejo's vaqueros?
Yeah, I'm certain sure.
Look, for all intents and purposes now, you were squatters, and you knew that you were taking a chance.
No, we weren't squatters. Valejo asked us to settle there. You know, most of his land wasn't good for much. He tricked us into settling there. Then when we made something out of it, he's trying to take it back. Mr. McGivern, we need help. We need the vigilantes.
It's impossible. The vigilantes operate only in the city of San Francisco. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid you're going to have to appeal to the state.
The state? Why, Vallejo's soft-soaped them politicos up there so that us poor folk don't stand a chance of getting state help. Unless you folks help us, we're gonna help ourselves. And there are enough of us to give that Don Mariano Valejo a taste of his own medicine.
Jack, why don't I go up there? Get an idea of what's really happening.
All right. But mind you this now. You're not going as a vigilante. You're just going as a reporter for the newspaper.
Dios mío, it is the wrong man.
California, California, the Californians. California, I've come to live where life is best. In the Golden West, I'm gonna strike it rich in California.
How is he?
No change. Why did you do that, Uncle Manuel?
I wanted to make certain he's asleep. Come with me. Why did you shoot him?
It was a mistake. I thought he was Ruge.
We can't afford mistakes like this. We can't have this man in this house.
He's very sick.
Since when did a sick gringo mean anything to you? Or has Christian charity washed out the memory of how gringos killed your father?
No, never.
You should never have brought him here. You should have let him die where he was.
I did not think at the time.
We can't make another move until this man is out of the house. He's waking up. Go to him, watch him. I don't trust him. He's a vigilante.
Who was that?
My uncle, Don Manuel Guzman. He stopped to ask how you were. Now, go back to sleep. Please. You must get well. Soon.
I sent for you as soon as I learned his identity.
Muchísimas gracias, senor. That was most kind of you. What did your doctor say?
He treated his wound and left him to God.
I see. I suppose you don't know why he was ambushed or who did it?
Senor, I do not know.
You don't know, eh? Now, why should I believe that?
Because I said I don't know. My niece Yolanda found him on the road. She got help and we brought him here.
That was most fortunate for him, wasn't it?
Are you implying that I had anything to do with this?
Senor Valejo, I may be implying it, others are saying it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll get him ready for the journey home. All right, Mr. Patrick, stop playing possum with me and wake up.
Hey, try showing a little respect for a dying man, huh?
Dying, man. Look, at you no more dying than I am now. Come on, get out of bed and into your clothes. I'm taking you home.
Go away, McGivern. Let me die in peace.
Now, you listen here to me. Are you going to get out of bed, or am I going to have to pull you out? Come on.
Now, wait a minute, Jack. Now, wait a minute. If there's trouble on the Vallejo lands, it's starting right in this house. This is the place to get at the root of it. As a sick man making a slow recovery, I can find out things we'd never learn otherwise.
You know, you're right. All right, we'll play it your way.
At the first sign of trouble, I'll shout so loud you can hear me on Montgomery Street.
How is he?
Very weak, senorita, very weak. You seem greatly concerned over a stranger.
I feel responsible for him, Senor McGivern. After all, I was the one who found him. It is good to know you are getting well, Senor.
How do you know I'm getting well?
When a man looks at a woman the way you are looking at me, he's getting very well.
How are you feeling today, my friend?
Well, your niece tells me I'm feeling very well.
Oh, Yolanda is a very good nurse. Will you excuse us, my dear? I want to talk to Senor Patrick alone. There are times when it pays to be blunt. Frankness is a path to understanding. I will ask you a blunt question, hope for a frank answer. Why are you procrastinating your illness, senor?
Sir?
Dr. Mendoza assures me your wound is not serious enough to merit so long a convalescence. Why are you staying here?
You're asking a lot of questions, Don Mariano. Now let me ask one. Are you behind the raids on the settlers?
I'm just as eager as you are to find out.
Don't you have any ideas?
Not the slightest.
John Rugi said that he was raided by Vallejo vaqueros.
He lied.
Somebody's lying.
I know. And I suppose it's natural for people to suspect me. A generous gesture is always suspected, senor. People probe for unworthy motives behind the generosity. During the centuries of Spanish rule, the land belonged to a few. There was no incentive for the many to make the most of it. I wanted to provide that incentive. Give men some property of their own that they would develop out of pride of ownership. The more settlers, the better.
And who could be raiding these people?
I don't know. You stay as long as you like. You'll find nothing out of place at Rancho Valejo. Nothing.
Something wrong, senor?
How soon will I be able to ride?
Why?
There's a man I want to see. John Rugi.
Are you sure he suspects nothing?
I told you, I'm not certain of anything.
Are you trying to protect this man?
Why would I do that?
Is it possible that you're developing an affection for him?
Certainly not.
Better not go all the way to Rugi's with him. It might be dangerous.
I am only going to show him the road. Come, we have a long way to go.
What were those men trying to do? Who were they?
Rugi's men. They were trying to abduct me.
I don't understand you. You know I love you. You say you love me, but well, still you won't explain why Rugi's men are after you.
I cannot explain. I love you. Isn't that enough?
Enough? It's wonderful. That means I have to see John Rugi. Will you come with me?
I think you better go alone.
Hold it, Patrick. What are you doing over here? Why ain't you back with your murdering friends?
Why did these men try to abduct Yolanda Valejo?
They weren't fixing to abduct her. They were fixing to kill her. What do you mean? Don't try nothing.
Why did they want to kill her?
Who do you think's been leading the vaqueros on these raids? Yolanda Inez Maria Vallejo, that's who. Yeah, dressed like a man, but twice as cruel as any man ever could be. And I'll tell you something. The first time any of us gets her over the sights of a gun, she's gonna be dead. We're doing a little raiding on our own. We caught one of Vallejo's vaqueros, sweated him, and he talked. He told us the girl was leading the raids.
Doesn't seem like the vaqueros would follow a woman.
She's a Vallejo. They won't follow anybody that's not a Vallejo.
I just can't believe that a girl like Yolanda would lead men to murder.
Well, the fellow we caught told us her pap was killed a few years back by a gringo in the Bear Flag War. So she hates gringos. She's got some crazy idea she's gonna run us all out of California.
Then why should she save my life? She's been with me every minute while I was sick.
Why? Because you're a vigilante. And there ain't been any raids during that time that you were here. But as soon as you leave, they'll start up again. But we're ready for them now.
How do you mean ready?
As soon as his vaqueros pull out on the raid, we're gonna move. We're gonna burn Vallejo right out of his house.
You do, and you'll have the California militia breathing right down the back of your neck.
We'll fight them, too. We asked you vigilantes for help, now we're gonna help ourselves. We're tired of sitting back doing nothing while Vallejo wipes us out.
If you can prove what you've been telling me, if you can prove it, I promise you'll get vigilante assistance. Thank you for everything, Don Mariano. And you, Senorita? I owe my life to your nursing.
It was a debt I owed, senor.
Try to convince John McGivern of my good faith in these troubles. Or are you convinced of it yourself?
McGivern's a pretty hard man to convince sometimes. Goodbye.
Dear.
What is it, Yolanda?
I couldn't let you go like this. Goodbye.
I took the road to San Francisco. Then, when I was well away from the Hacienda Vallejo, I turned off into the hills. I met John Rugi as we'd planned. We rode back towards the hacienda. It would be dark by the time we got there.
What is it, Yolanda?
How long must we go on with this?
Until things are as they were before the gringos came. Until our lands and customs are returned to us. Are you weakening? Have you forgotten how your father died?
No. It is just that I'm tired of being like this. I am a woman, Uncle.
You're a Vallejo. The only person the vaqueros will follow except one, your uncle Don Mariano. And he hasn't the will or courage to fight these Yankees. He never did.
Perhaps he's right.
This is no time to argue about who is right. Are you going?
Yes.
That's better. Vaya con Dios, niña mía.
You were right. She's leading the raids.
This'll be her last.
Now you listen to me, Rugi. You're not leading any raids on the Vallejos.
Who's giving the orders?
I am. We'll put this in the hands of men who know more about handing out justice than you and the rest of the people up here put together.
You got until dawn to get your vigilantes out here. You don't show, we're burning out Hacienda Vallejo. You better ride hard.
We don't need a lot of men, Jack. Just enough to take over and sort out the truth.
I'll tell you this much. If we use the vigilantes, we're in a devil of a lot of trouble.
We have to use them, Jack. So far, the state has refused to act. If Rugi leads an attack on the Vallejo Hacienda, he may spark a full-scale civil war. Don Vallejo is a very respected man among his people.
All right. I suppose we best do it. Wait here for me.
Can I get you anything more?
No thanks.
Does it hurt so much? You still love her.
Dean, you don't have to come along if you'd rather not to, you know.
I do have to come along. I have to find out why. So the vigilantes raced against dawn to reach Vallejo's hacienda.
I've never heard such preposterous statements. Do you expect me to believe that a Vallejo woman is leading a troop of vaqueros on raids such as these? Never, never will I believe such a thing.
May I suggest, Senor, that you ask the senorita to come down?
Señor.
Diga a mi sobrina que baje.
Sí, señor.
And you, Senor Patrick, is this the way you repay my kindness, my hospitality, with lies about a Vallejo? I have been a friend to you and your people since you first came to this country. Well?
La señorita Yolanda no está en su habitación, señor.
Bien. My niece is not in her room. It can't be true. I can't believe it.
Dean, why don't you wait outside and bring her in here when she comes, huh?
Dean.
They're waiting for you inside.
You know?
Yes.
Uncle.
And who is this person who calls me uncle?
Please, Uncle Mariano.
Why did you do this? Why did you bring this shame on yourself, on me, on the name of Valejo?
Why don't you ask Don Manuel?
What has he to do with this? Well? Yolanda, answer me.
He said the Yankees were stealing our land. He said we would drive the Yankees out and this country would once more be ours.
And why did you choose his way instead of mine?
Because the Yankees killed my father.
Dean, take 2 men and bring Guzman down. I don't quite understand it. Why did Guzman instigate all these raids against the settlers?
That is the question we shall ask of Don Manuel. You poor child. Your father wasn't killed by the Yankees.
But Don Manuel always told me.
Your father was killed by a cave-in as he rode to join forces of the Bear Flag Republic. He felt as I did about the Americans.
But Don Manuel always said...
Don Manuel was with your father when he died.
Yolande, what are you doing in that costume?
Why did you lie about my father's death? Why did you tell me we were fighting for the sake of our people?
What is the girl talking about?
Stop it, Guzman. I saw you last night sending her on the raid. All we want to know is why.
Perhaps I know. You couldn't stand seeing what you thought was your inheritance wasted, could you?
These are not your lands to give away. They belong to the Valejos.
Ah, but you are not a Valejo.
Yes, but my wife was. And when your brother died, I was the next heir. I was...
When my brother died, you became an heir. How did my brother die, Don Manuel?
It was the cave-in. I told you how it happened.
The truth isn't in you.
I'll knock it out of him.
Take them, Senor McGivern. I only ask that you consider the youth of my niece and the lies this man told her.
I promise you, we'll do what we can for her. All right, you men, take him out. Don't be a fool, Guzman. You can't get away with it.
Stay back.
I want the truth about my father.
I won't hesitate to shoot you, Landy.
You killed him, didn't you?
Take him out.
What are you doing?
I guess I'll go for a walk.
In this fog?
Why not?
Jackie's going to make himself sick.
Oh, he'll be all right, darling. You know something? I think she must have been a very wonderful girl.
But it isn't right that he should go on grieving this way.
Oh, he's a young man, darling. There'll be many more.
But she seemed to be the love of his life.
They all seem that way. It's part of the penalty of growing up, I think, you know.
Did you have a love of your life before me? Well, did you?
Yes. Yes, of course I did.
No. And what happened to her?
Well, she married a greengrocer in Limerick. She had 9 children, and she grew very, very fat.
And how long did you grieve?
Oh. Oh, darling. Just till you came along.
California. Oh, I've traveled here, I've traveled there. I guess I've been most everywhere. But I like where I am today, and here is where I'll stay. Now, one thing I just can't endure is being broke and being poor. So I come west to take the cure, and here is where I'll stay. I've come to California, California. There's gold in them there hills in California. I've come to live where life is best. In the Golden West, I'm gonna strike it rich in California.